Rajdeep, the question we've been asking, as we usually do on Democratic Newsroom, are simple ones. And over the last few days, I know you've had more than your share of having to opine on where things went wrong as far as the Congress was concerned. But now the Congress is in a huddle, Rajdeep. Today is day 2 of them, having a meeting over who to blame, etc. Who would you blame? Who would you blame for this? Let's start with the Congress first. We'll go to exit pollsters, etc. later.
I'm going to reverse that for a moment because I thought of putting some egg yolk here. I'm just putting it on my face. All the egg on my face that I need, having predicted a easy Congress win in Haryana. I don't know if you can see it, but that's what I'm doing. Because look, and the irony is there's not a single pollster, pundit, reporter, not one. I go across, I'm in touch with a lot of the regional dailies and their reporters in Haryana. No one predicted a BJP victory. Ask the BJP leaders in private. Even 24 hours before, and they'd say, yaar, embarrassing defeat nahi chahiye. These were the words used by a senior BJP leader.
Dignified defeat.
Dignified defeat. To answer your question, I think what happened, and it's very easy, therefore, to target pollsters and pundits. I was with a colleague from Lallan Top, our Hindi news website, and we went through the numbers. 22,957 votes across 9 constituencies could have changed who won the election.
Yeah.
That's how close it was. When you actually look at the numbers, you break down the numbers, it's extremely close. So all the analysis that you'll do could have easily turned around. Having said that, I think this was an election in a one line, Mahal versus management. It's not my word, my colleague from Lallan Top, Abhinav Pandey, used it beautiful. Mahal was with the Congress. There was anti-incumbency. That's why reporters reported that. That's why pollsters also sensed it. But the management of micro-level electioneering was done remarkably well by the BJP. So while we can blame the Congress and they can do all the introspection that they want, the truth of the matter is, and particularly, Shiv, in the Jat heartland, ensuring multipolar contest. So the Jat vote got divided. CSDS post-poll survey, only 53% Jats voted for the Congress. The Congress thought it would be 70-75%. Dalit vote got split in different parts, while the BJP focused on the urban heartland and areas around the Ahirwal belt from Gurugram onwards and the GT Karnal road. So they were able to retain some of that, especially in the Ahirwal belt, and ensure division in where the Congress expected to win. So it was the ground game. That's what elections, particularly in small states, are won. One thing I've decided, small state election, I am not going to ever predict again. Chhattisgarh.
But Rajdeep, I take your point. I have to say something. I have to say something in defense of Rajdeep Sardesai right now. You've talked about egg on your face. It's a very brave thing that you've done. But the fact is, the fact is, you have day after day been talking about what has happened in Haryana, and I think that is a very creditable thing. You're talking about what happened before, you're talking about what happened after. One second.
Sometimes I fear I am introspecting more than the Congress is.
But
you definitely are.
Rajdeep, since you speak about egg, I thought you would say jalebi. Because that is, just a quick interjection. I think just to add to what Rajdeep said, he gave us a very granular point of view. What is the message in the recent past? Overconfidence does not win you elections.
Very good point.
The result of June 4th, 400 par nahi hua, mushkil se par hua to some extent. If you go back to Madhya Pradesh, if you go to Rajasthan, if you look at Chhattisgarh, overconfidence and the Indian electorate now have an increasing distance. And I will add, you guys are, Rajdeep, you have covered politics all your life. I think more than anti-incumbency, in this social media generation and post-social media generation, overconfidence is an absolute killer.
So those 2 words of overconfidence and Mahal, Rajdeep, if I could take this up to you, right after the elections, the general elections, and I remember in our Democratic Newsroom, Rajdeep had said that all pundits or all exit pollsters had gotten carried away with the 400 par slogan then. Yes. So now too, do you think it was overconfidence and the mahal created by Congress that everyone fell for? Was that the problem?
Look at one thing. I mean, again, as I said, I'm introspecting more than the Congress party should be. The Congress party vote has actually gone up by 11%. Yeah. That's staggering. That's a huge amount. 29% is almost 40%. Now, as a reporter, I'm going to pick that up, right? Also, the Jats are often more vocal. So they'll come to your camera.
But
they'll
there
speak
was
about
anti-Jat consolidation as well.
No, you see, but even this anti-Jat consolidation is simplification. The Jat itself, if only 53% Jats eventually voted, what happened? There were 10, 12 Jats in a constituency, each brought in by 1,000, 2,000 votes. That's why a local election is becoming more and more difficult. You talk about Maharashtra. Suppose I don't get a ticket from one of the major alliances. I contest an independent, I take 3,000 votes. Now, 3,000 votes may not be a lot. It may be my neighborhood, but it's enough to change elections. So my point to you is that it is becoming more and more for a reporter also. How do I don't know.
So should we not stick our neck out then?
Certainly not. I think pollsters, it's time for exit pollsters to exit if they want to convert vote share to seats. Vote share to seats.
Sorry, in our defense...
Poll panditry is a dangerous profession.
I want to...
Poll panditry is a dangerous profession.
Siddharth Rabi, I don't think we should stop doing our job, and I think Rajdeep
should just
Sardesai is in the studio.
Not do panditry. Not do panditry.
No, well, it's out of experience. I can't do panditry. I still have to do... I have a long way to go to learn Haryana. But Rajdeep sir can. You can, Rajdeep.
No, why?
My only thing is, hasn't the Congress really learnt, like you mentioned, from Madhya Pradesh's debacle, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan? After Karnataka's massive victory,
Nabila,
they were so big in Karnataka, they were so high on that victory,
they didn't learn
but
it in
came
Jammu.
down...
They didn't learn it in Jammu, the story of Jammu and Kashmir. And just quickly, look at that flip about cutting the vote by having multiple candidates. Yeah. That was the BJP strategy in the valley. And that backfired very clearly.
You know, Rajdeep is a consummate political reporter. No matter what I ask him, he's going to go down to the ground, talk to the numbers, talk about the cars, talk about this, talk about that. I want to talk about what's happening right now in those meetings, Rajdeep. I really want to know. No, are you saying in that case that with the margins so small that you can't really blame the Congress? You can't really, because sorry to sound maybe a little cruel, but even this overconfidence thing, you're talking about people who are consummate professionals. Bhupinder Singh Hooda, very, very grounded people. How could they not see what was going on?
Look, I don't want to overanalyze an election which I said was actually, when you go down to granular numbers, so close. But every politician also gets sort of caught up by the mahal, however experienced you are. I mean, a consummate politician like Narendra Modi ji got caught up in the mahal a bit in the Lok Sabha elections, and a consummate politician like Bhupinder Singh Hooda got caught up. There are those congressmen who will say, we would not even have got 39% but for Hooda. Hooda hamara Jat face tha. So you see, for every answer there can be a counter answer. I think what the end of the day is, politics as it gets hyper-localized in these state elections needs micromanagement and people on the ground. Congress does not have block-level committees across Haryana. Yeah. Now, how do you fight? Karnataka, they are organizationally strong.
Yeah,
Maharashtra, relatively better.
But despite the organization, Lok Sabha, they didn't do well. They had a great stint with the
Lok Sabha was,
assembly, but Lok Sabha, they failed.
But Lok Sabha also, when we use word like failed, had Janata Dal's S not tied up with the BJP, 5 seats which went to the JDS, BJP combined might well have gone to the Congress. Margins.
Okay, to that effect, what I mean here is Congress could have easily allied even in Haryana in that case. Why didn't they look for alliances? Why did they not seal a deal with Aam Aadmi Party, not seal a deal with SP? SP wanted to fight Southern Haryana. Why did they not encourage them? Sure. There could have at least 2-3% vote share could have come to them.
Nabila, there is an old saying, success has many fathers, failure is an orphan. We can now say suddenly Aam Aadmi Party kyun kiya, Samajwadi. The real reason is your own. You see, Congress itself, let's be honest, is a strong party in Haryana as the BJP has become.
Not what they were in 2004 and 9.
No.
That glory has gone.
No,
they should admit it.
Ma'am, as I said, on the ground in a hyper-localized election, your challenge is to manage the last mile connectivity. You have to have feet on the ground. The RSS got involved, had feet on the ground, gave feedback. You asked Shiv what's going on in the meeting. In the meeting, ironically, the very people some of whom are responsible for this debacle are judging their own defeat. I mean, how can they decide, for example, the surveys? Sunil Kanagulu after Karnataka was the new whiz kid. After Telangana, new whiz kit. What happens in Haryana?
Yeah.
It's like pollsters.
Yeah.
All of us have to come to ground. ये जमीन है ना, ये सबके लिए है.
Rahul Gandhi is blaming the cadre, saying that you people are keeping yourself above
The local
actual
leaders.
issues.
No,
Local leaders.
no, one minute.
No, he should have blamed the factions.
Rahul Gandhi went and campaigned in Haryana only in the last week.
But he was in the United States. He should have been there, more available
Of
and
course,
on the ground.
Now Rahul Gandhi, you said Aam Aadmi Party. It's ironic. He has a central election committee meeting. Rahul Gandhi at that central election committee
Recommends an
alliance and then leaves for America. Now the guys who are at the ground have their own equation that they are striking, say, no, we don't want an alliance. We will do it our own way. Of course, overconfidence, you're right. Hubris, that we don't need anyone. Hum jante hain. There are even reports now of the way in which the tickets were decided.
Yeah.
Now, based on the surveys, you see, these surveys also, eventually, you see, part of the problem is, politics is so competitive. If I don't get a ticket, I will contest as a rebel. It's a problem now across the country. Because earlier, you could placate, मुंह में थोड़ा पेड़ा डाल दिया, जिलेबी डाल दी, नहीं, मत contest करो, please sit down. When you're in government, you can do it easily. BJP also had a lot of rebels, but BJP has resources to placate the rebels because you're in power. The Congress was not able to placate rebels. Some rebels were deliberately put up to undercut your rival. ये जो theory है ना, Congress में इसको निपटाएंगे,